Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the Supertro Mini GB530. What a weird name. Nevertheless, it's a mini arcade machine or called classic arcade game. So in my previous video we also talked about this super retro mini device. But this blue version I'm showing you here has some issues that I didn't really like. So in my opinion this thing has a lot of great features, light up buttons, it even comes with an option to change out the 4:3 aspect ratio if you want to with the monitor itself. But the main problem I had with this device that it was quite low powered. In other words, you could play some, let's say, MAME, Neo Geo, 8-bit, 16-bit, some low end stuff that we've seen before many times. And the price itself was not very expensive in my opinion, because what you're going to get is a very tiny, cool looking machine that is quite portable, comes with a built-in battery, and you can play for a couple of hours on the go. It's very cool, but again, we have seen it many times before, especially when it comes to the software itself. And there I found a solution for. Okay, so recently I picked up basically it's the same model when it comes to the casing, but this time we're going to get some interesting specifications. It's going to be a retro mini emulation beast. Okay, so let's open it up and let's do a quick unboxing together. So what you're going to get is of course the toilet paper manual, like always, very flimsy paper with explanations. Here shows the different editions that you can get when it comes to these mini arcade machines. And there are some English language parts in the manual, but mostly it's an Asian language. A little bit of a bummer. Then we're going to get a mainboard inside. I'm guessing that this is more like a spare one. Don't know if they're going to give you this always. Depends maybe where you buy it. But we'll show you later what it is. We're going to get a spare button. And of course the screwdriver, or spare buttons better said. Then we're going to get the power supply because I need to charge it. 12 volt. This is a 3 amp. Just the cheap ones we're also going to get mostly with the Pandora's boxes. And of course, in my case, the European cable. But of course, if you order one, take in consideration that you ordered with the right cable. So the packaging itself is done very well. Here you can see like they're having these two styrofoam shells. And will this thing be safe in transport? Let's find out. The previous one came in one piece. So let's see if this is the same story. It seems to be he survived the transport from China to here. Okay, so they sent me this time the yellow model. And I'm guessing they didn't have the other one in stock. Because I cannot recall that I ordered myself the other one. I think it was a red one. Ah, whatever. It looks nice. But when it comes to the shell, not only the color is different. So when it comes to the features like the monitor, that is the same. But it is mostly when it comes to the controls where we're going to get some minor differences. But let's take a close look at the layout itself. It's exactly the same, so that would be like a quick comparison. But where we're going to get the differences are like this minor things. Let's talk about the ball top. Here you can see this is the American style one, if I'm saying it correctly. I really like the way it looks. It's thinner than this one. Both have the same kind of joysticks. This version has the light up buttons. Let's turn it on so you can see like this only has the light up buttons. But it got a very, I wouldn't say a horrible touch, but it's different. Here we're going to get more like the nice long travel clickish buttons. So, but it's like the differences that you're going to get when it comes to controls. So take consideration when you're ordering one for yourself. There are a lot of differences, especially when it comes to the buttons, not really the joysticks. Okay, so at the back of the device, there we're going to get all the connections. And here we can see this thing is packed with a Raspberry Pi number 4. And the Pi 4 has a lot of potential when it comes to emulation. Here we're going to get the HDMI. Then we're going to get here a jack out that it seems to be. They're going to get the input for the 12 volt adapter, the 4 USB ports that we can use for example, a controller. So you can use this thing like in game system, and the RJ45 connection for internet. Yes, very nice. But I just wanted to give you a quick look at the HDMI functionality. But sadly, it seemed not to be working with a plug and play solution. A little bit of a bummer. Maybe if you mess around with the settings, it's possible to get it working. But I just wanted to see for this video if you can plug and play it and use it like in game system. But it is not that easy. Okay, there is one thing that you always need to double check. So here at the back we're going to get the compartment for the batteries. But it is highly possible if you're going to order this from a random seller, you're not going to get any batteries whatsoever. Like this one. We're not going to get any, a little bit of a bummer. I will show you which one you need. And the reason I say like which seller you're going to get one, because with the cabinet you're seeing here, let's say the white edition with blue, I did get myself some batteries, and yes, I ordered this one from a different seller. To be honest, okay, how to get this bloody thing out? Let's be very gentle. Alright. But what you're going to need is this kind of battery. The 18650, these are like 4000 milliamp each. So it gives you like a lot of capacity, a lot of playtime. Of course, depending what kind of brand you're getting. And take consideration, there are a lot of fake ones out there, so it's very hard to get the good brands. And also, when it comes to the software itself, this version will run on the Recalbox in combination with the Raspberry Pi 4, but of course it depends where you're going to buy it. Okay, but let's do a quick overview of the control panel. We're going to get here the pause button, select start, volume control is over here for the system, on and off button, then we're going to get 6 action buttons. Sadly, I wish they had like 8, but yeah, there aren't a lot of room for them. But then we're going to get the joystick over here, like this very nice clicky joystick. I must say, I really like it. But when it comes to the monitor itself, what I notice is that it's beautiful. It's a very nice IPS panel, colorful, and of course, because of the IPS, it has a very nice, good view angle. Something I wish they use in every single arcade machine. So you pay a lot of money for this device, but when it comes to the display, it looks very fancy. At the top we're going to get a light up marquee. I think that is really cool. So the SUP Retro Mini also comes with 2 speakers over here, like stereo speakers. They are not having a lot of bass, but they sound very nice.
Get ready to kick butt. Engage.
My version came with the Raspberry Pi 4. I already said, like, I don't know if the seller will always give you this tiny mainboard. It would be cool if they would just give you this. It would be cool to have this in your collection. Why? Not to swap out with the Raspberry Pi. You can use it like a spare, but what is really cool, you can always use it for projects. Because that board is still capable of running up to, I think it was like up to PlayStation 1. Okay, but let's take a close look at the menu itself. What are we going to get? So this thing is running on Recalbox. But what I like about the Raspberry Pi 4, it is way more powerful. So this will run up to Sega Dreamcast. Depends if they reconfigured everything correctly. And also I don't know if this thing has been overclocked. But in the end, this thing is capable of running way more stuff than the previous board that was in here. So I think it's a very big positive thing. And the menu itself looks pretty cool. And take consideration with the Recalbox, it's user friendly and you still need to have a little bit of experience when it comes to, let's say, adding games and stuff, but you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do with it. And we have a lot of great stuff like Sega and Sega 32X, stuff that you couldn't play with the previous mainboard. But the only thing that really annoys me is like stuff like this. And what do I mean with stuff like this? So Sega Dreamcast runs perfectly, but things like the joystick hasn't been mapped. So when you're going to navigate through the menu, it works fine because it's basically mapped to the D-pad. So like things, you can always fix it in the menu, but I just wanted to show you that stuff like this happens, that they just completely messed it up. When I say they grabbed an image from the internet, but they are not checking the stuff so you can actually plug and play. So this is what I mean, like you need to have some knowledge when it comes to Recalbox and the Raspberry Pi. Okay, but it's not all that bad. So other game like this Marvel's Capcom 2, you can see like the game has been mapped through the D-pad and can be played. Of course, again, if it doesn't work, you can always like mess around with the settings. The joystick is super responsive, so it's very clicky, it is very sensitive, but I really like it. I was quite negative in the beginning of this video, but I just wanted to give you a good quick look over some games that cannot run good or not at all. But when you're looking at the, let's say, the 8-bit, 16-bit stuff, what I really love about this is that we can play a lot of great systems that we couldn't play on Pandora Box, let's say, similar devices. So like this game, Sonic City, one of my favorite ones, I still play up today. A system I really love to play, but always will be a problem to emulate on devices like this, is of course N64. Another issue is that they didn't have mapped all of the buttons correctly, and you can see I cannot even play the game. But also like with a 6-bit on layout, it's not enough. So N64 is just a big, if you ask me. There will be games playable, but let's be honest, we're missing out buttons. That is an issue. But a great example is when it comes to PlayStation Portable. PlayStation Portable is playable with some games, and what I like about it, now we're going to have like the 60x9 aspect ratio, because the original display of a PlayStation Portable is also widescreen. And when it comes to like the old school games, you see that you're going to get the normal aspect ratio 4:3. So even the monitor has the option to change it out. It is not needed simply because we can use it with the software like that. And overall, the PlayStation Portable two-dimensional games are playable. There will be some games like God of War that will not run at all, but it's more like the same story, because in the end it's just a Raspberry Pi 4 in an arcade machine. Okay, enough about the joystick and configuration and all the yada yada. Let's take a close look at the inside, because I am wondering where is the Raspberry Pi and how will this thing fit together. Because is it also possible to basically replace the buttons? Let's find out. Okay, so at the front we're going to get two Parkers, and we can basically remove these and we can flip up the panel and just remove it. So let's do that first. So what I like about it, that is a very nice, sturdy, high quality feel casing, even if made out of plastic film plastic. That the Parkers are holding the parts together, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm just going to be honest, but it seems to be working. I think you don't need to remove this thing like 5 times, because otherwise the holes will be not perfectly anymore. Okay, so now the front panel has been removed. You can just basically flip this one open. It's going to be a little bit of wiggling around. Eventually it will come out. It's not the best construction if you ask me, but you can see like super easy to remove your buttons if you want to. So let's take a close look at the buttons and the joystick. It's like with the previous model, we're going to get like the smaller arcade buttons, so if you want to change them out for a different brand, that is possible. So the joystick, I don't know, to be honest, if this thing is replaceable or not, but I can tell you like this thing plays very well. It's a very short travel, it comes with micro switches, so the click but also the feel is perfect, and I really like it. And here you can see like there we're going to get all the other parts, so let's open it up the back, because otherwise I cannot show you the other parts. Okay, so at the back we're going to find the same kind of Parkers. Over here we're going to get all of the holes where the Parkers are hidden. You need to remove all of these, and of course we can use these two. If we're going to remove everything, we can rip off the back panel and we can take a closer look in the inside. Okay, so taking this thing apart is quite easy. The only thing I really didn't like are the things at the bottom that holds it in place. So but over here you're going to get the two PCBs, one for the monitor and the other one is going to be the Raspberry Pi. Then we're going to get the separate PCB for the battery compartment that converts the voltage for that voltage that we're going to need. And over here, of course, the control panel, and the middle one is the big piece of plastic that also contains the LCD. So basically there are not a lot of parts inside of this machine. But there are some things that is quite concerning. So that's the Raspberry Pi. I think that's a genius way. Here you can see it's using the original ADA connection, so you can just basically plug it out without having the hassle of putting everything in the right place. That's perfectly. But the cooling solution, look at this. Like basically they're using a cooling passive element with an active cooling on top of it. Like this combination is not the best way to cool it. Another thing that I noticed is that the CF card is over here. So if you're going to have an issue with the CF card, yeah, you need to basically rip this thing apart at the back to get to the CF card. So there are some things construction wise they didn't think of. But the biggest concern is this fan. You can see like it's still moving, so there's nothing has been screwed in, nothing at all. Oh boy. Okay, so the volume control is on the panel itself. That is a very positive thing. And if you need to change the aspect ratio, that is not needed because you can do it in the software. But with the previous model, you needed to do that. You can over here change it out fairly easy. But also like if you want to change out the brightness, the colors, stuff like that, the contrast, you can just do it over there. But you need to remove the panel itself, the two screws. So it's going to be a little bit of a hassle if you want to do that every single time. Okay, so this device is portable. But how portable and how heavy is it? So that thing is around 878 grams. Oh boy, that is not even 2 kilograms for a portable machine. And that is, in my opinion, quite light and quite portable. Okay guys, but is it worth picking up? That is of course the question you need to ask yourself. And I can basically help you with that. So at the left we're going to get the blue one. That was quite affordable. And at the right we're going to get the Pi version that has way better options when it comes to, let's say, modding with the software. If you want to change things out, like emulators, you want to play different games, it has so much more to offer compared with the Pandora's box / the blue one you can see at the left. The SUP Retro Mini with the Pi 4. So when I reviewed the blue one, a lot of people told me like, hey Wicked, we need a Pi 4 in it. And absolutely you are right, my Wicked family. Because simply when you're looking at this device, it's so much better now and you have so much more freedom when it comes to emulator and playing games. The thing I didn't like is that the cooling method they used on the Pi 4 is a little bit of a bummer. Like, spend some more time developing this, get a better cooling, and for example, if you want to switch out the CF card, you need to like rip this thing apart. A little bit of a bummer, and yeah, they need to improve it. But overall, I'm very pleased with this device. Let me know what you think of this. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, become one of the Wicked family if you didn't. Subscribe, hit the little bell, and I will see you in the next video.